Good morning, everyone. We're going to call our meeting to order. Want to welcome everybody. Today's January 5th. Hope you all had a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And hopefully 2026 is a great year for everybody. We have a pretty good crowd today. Just want to remind you, if you're here to speak during the call to the public, you'll need to fill out a form in the back and give it to Hannah, please. Do we have anyone online? Welcome to those online. We will start this meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance led by Supervisor Howard.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Could we get a motion to approve our minutes of our regular meeting and work session held on December 15th, 2025?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
I'll second Supervisor Howard's motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Could we get a motion, or motion passes, sorry. Could we also get a motion to approve our demands and handwritten warrants?
Chairman, Mac, I will go ahead and move that we go ahead and pay the demands and handwritten warrants that have been that the county has for this pay period.
I will second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. We'll now turn the time over to our treasurer, Cindy Orr. Thank you for being here today.
Good morning, and thank you, Chairman and Manager Welker, members of the board. It's an honor to be first on the agenda of the first meeting of the first new year, so it's pretty exciting. As you're aware, we recently held our annual tax deed auction, and at that auction, we received offers on 9 of our properties that were offered for sale, and in addition, we had offers for 2 over-the-counter tax deeds. You have the listing of all of those. All of the offers met the minimum requirement for the past due taxes, fees, and cost to foreclose. But I'd be happy to entertain any questions you might have on those.
Great, thank you. Any questions or comments from the board?
I just would like to say, again, I always praise you, Cindy, for your hard work and the job you're doing in that office. You have done an amazing job, and you're diligent on getting these types of things taken care of, and it's very important. So thank you so much. Always praise you, and I'll do it all the time. Thank you.
Thank you. You're so kind.
Thanks. Chairman, I just had a couple questions. One is regarding trends. As I noticed in the paper, there are more and more foreclosure notices, and was wondering if you're seeing that people who are either delinquent or unable to pay their taxes, if that's increasing or whether it's static.
It doesn't appear to be increasing. We're looking about the same as we've been over the last couple of years, with a slight, like 1% better this year over previous years. But there has been in the last couple of months an increase in the foreclosures for those who've held the liens for some time.
Okay, very good. Well, thank you. Did you make the motion?
No, I didn't make
Oh,
a
okay.
motion.
Would you?
Go ahead. Yeah, I'll go ahead and make a motion as it is read here on our agenda as it stands for the tax deed sales on parcels.
And I'll be pleased to second Supervisor Howard's motion for these 9 plus 2 tax deed sale parcels.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Thank
you, Cindy. We'll now turn the time over to Eric Engel with our engineering department. Good morning, Eric.
Morning. Okay, so this is for approval of a temporary workspace license agreement with Freeport for the Tally Wash construction project. So this is our big Tally Wash project that we'll be opening bids for later today. We approached Freeport about using their property to build our bypass road and also use a big piece of it for a laydown staging area for the project. And so this is for that agreement.
Great, thank you. Appreciate Freeport being willing to work with us on it. Any questions or comments?
Just exciting project about to take place. It'll be a little congested for a while, but it's gonna be exciting to see it, and I'm sure everybody will get through it, and then we'll get this done for the safety of our citizens and improving travel on that road. So excited for it.
Thanks. And I think you answered my question, looking at the plans and the location of the temporary road. You know, we've got another 300 foot upstream of that on either side of the wash. And I was going to ask why, and if you say that's for the laydown yard and for the contractor for parking, then that answers the question. Is that correct?
Yeah, and also maybe cleaning up some of the it's part of their grading, some of it grading area and
Okay, very good.
sourcing riprap, stuff like that.
Okay, very good.
One question, Eric. The folks that live up on the hill there, is there the way they get to their house, they don't go around anymore. They go up that paved, they pave that little road. Okay.
Yeah,
so they won't be affected.
Yeah, it's before the crossing.
Okay.
Yeah, and for those of you who are, probably most of you aren't completely aware, but the Tally Wash is one of the major washes that drain north of us, and a scene of a fatality a number of years ago, and it continues to be a hazard because the flooding is intense and flash floods, and even though we have have the signs that don't enter a flooded wash, people either or think that their large four-wheel drive vehicle can make it, or or are just unaware, and so this will provide what we hope is to be an all-weather crossing and eliminate that hazard, and we plan to build the plans include an access road, so we'll be able to maintain traffic, 2-lane traffic. Is that 1 or 2 lane?
It's 2 lanes.
2 lanes, okay. So 2-way traffic over the little access road, temporary access road just to the north of that. So that'll be a great project, something that has been needed for decades. So I'd go ahead and I highly approve of that. We've received $1.8 million from an appropriation for that. So I appreciate our engineering department putting together a great set of plans and putting together a bid package. So I'm pleased to approve of the temporary workspace license agreement to allow us onto Freeport McMoran property temporarily during the construction project.
That is a motion, correct?
Yes, that is a motion.
I'll
Yes.
second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you, Eric. We'll now turn the time over to Cindy Norse with our HR department.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
The first item I have on the agenda is requesting legal representation for our Public Safety Retirement and Corrections Officer Retirement Board. It is with the firm of Ryan Rapp Pacheco Sorensen. They would, if approved, appear virtually during the local board meetings, and they would also provide legal counsel regarding the agenda request and our requirements that we need to have when we're having the meetings. This is all actually outlined in Arizona Revised Statute 38-847 that we have to have outside legal representation. I can answer any questions you may have.
Questions or
No
comments?
questions here.
Chairman Mack, I did have one question, Cindy. In reading through the agreement, I noticed that there was, they mentioned the costs. They referred to costs and billings, but I didn't see an estimate or an idea of what that would cost us. even though it's necessary, and maybe it's a moot question since we're going to have it. But I'm just wondering, do you have an idea of the cost for that representation?
I don't. I know that initially, because we are a little bit behind on our meetings, so we're required by state statute to meet twice a year for all of our local boards. I don't have an estimated cost, but I would assume that we are going to end up probably having, at least for the Corrections Officer Retirement Board, instead of just the 2 meetings a year, it could be up to 6, because we have to approve every single detention officer that's hired. And as you know, that we have a significant turnover. I wish I had an estimated cost for you, but I do not.
And is there a provision, I didn't see one or a discussion of being able to attend those remotely so there's not a travel component?
Yes, they will
involved?
appear virtually.
Okay,
Mhm.
very good.
Yeah.
That's the
So
best.
no travel costs.
That's the best answer I'm going to get then.
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve the representation of this agreement with Ryan Rapp Pacheco Sorensen PLC for the Graham County Sheriff's Office Public Safety Retirement System and the Corrections Officer Retirement Plan for our local boards.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Thank you. The next item is to approve Chairman Clay Mack for the term during the rest of your tenure as the chairman for the Public Safety Retirement Board, Corp Retirement Local Board, and Dispatcher Local Retirement Board.
Questions?
Do you know what you're getting into?
Probably not. Probably not.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve this appointment of Chairman Mack to the PSPRS Local Retirement Board.
And I'm pleased to second the motion, and thank you for your service, Chairman.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
The next item is to approve to appoint Julie Rodriguez as the Chief Financial Officer to the Public Safety Retirement Local Board, the Corp Local Retirement Board, and Dispatcher Local Retirement Board to serve a 2-year term.
I don't have anything to worry about if I have Julie in there with me.
Right?
Yeah, she's literally and figuratively a fiscal bulldog. So I'm pleased to make the motion that we appoint Julie Rodriguez to represent the Graham County and our fiscal interests on the PSPRS, the Corp, and Dispatcher Retirement Boards.
Be second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
And the last item is to appoint Cindy Norris Blake to the PSPRS Local Retirement Board, Corp Local Retirement Board, and Dispatcher Local Retirement Board to serve a 2-year term as the human resources portion of it.
Well, that's quite a board. Together here. Nobody's going to get nothing past you guys. I'll be glad. You got anything, Paul?
No,
I'll
no,
go
sir.
ahead and make the motion to appoint Cindy Norris Blake to the same board.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cindy. Next, we'll hear from Julie Rodriguez with the Board of Supervisors.
Good morning and Happy New Year.
Good morning.
I'm coming to seek approval for out-of-state travel for 2 members of the Finance Department to attend the Tyler Technologies Conference in Las Vegas, Nevada, April 7th through 10th. Tyler is the owner of our New World software, so as you know, in the last 2 years, we've gone live on electronic purchasing, and so I feel like Felicia would benefit a lot from this conference. And then Brandon is extremely computer literate, and I think there's a lot of things that he would benefit from this conference. I've gone before. It's really intensive. They have a ton of sessions geared specifically for your needs. So like, for example, Felicia doesn't do payroll, so she doesn't have to sit through payroll seminars. She goes to ones that are targeted just for her needs. So it's a really good conference.
Great. Thank you.
No question?
No, in addition to working hard sawing, you also from time to time need to sharpen the saw, and we'll do that well. And I'll go ahead and make a motion that we approve the out-of-state travel for Finance Department training for the Tyler Technologies Conference.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
sir.
Julie. Every year, we appoint one of the board members to be on our County Supervisors Association Legislative Policy Committee. And we'll need to do that today. Do we have a motion for that?
I'd like to make a motion to appoint Vice Chairman David to this position for 2026.
I'll second the motion.
Okay.
Paul,
All
are
in
you-
favor?
Yeah,
You okay
you know,
with
all
that?
in favor? Oh, okay.
Aye.
All in favor, say aye.
And I,
You just
aye.
sat there very quietly.
No, I'm thinking what I'm getting into.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you for serving in that for us, Vice Chairman. We'll now open bids for our Tally Wash Crossing Improvement Project.
Looks like we have, what, 6 bids?
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, we received five bids.
Okay.
And as you mentioned, Vice Chairman David, this is funded through an appropriation through the state. We have spent some of those funds with initially with the consultant to help us identify what kind of bridge we wanted to span Tally Wash. And then from there, our engineering department did most of the in-house design. We used a local structural engineer, Mr. Udall, to help us with some of the structural components, but majority of it was done in-house. I want to thank Eric Engel and Johnny Griffin for all their work on this, getting the design done. So,
Okay, our first one is from Sholo Construction.
Sholo Construction, total bid price, $1,565,381.54.
Our next one is from Ames Construction.
All right, Ames Construction, total cost, $1,665,981.25.
Our next one is from Judco LLC.
Judco LLC, $2,231,322.
Our next one's going to be from Meridian Construction.
Meridian Engineering Company, $2,263,204.
The next one is going to be from CS Construction.
CS Construction, $1,458,546.59.
Dustin, could you repeat the first bid? I was opening, I didn't hear, if that's not too much trouble. 1 million?
Yes, no problem. For Sholo Construction?
Yeah.
These bids are very closely priced, which means Eric did a good job. Sholo Construction was $1,565,381.54.
Thank you.
We go ahead and get a motion on those.
Yeah, I would go ahead and make a motion to turn these bids over to staff for review and conformative and award the bid to the best possible lowest bidder, but the best bidder.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And I would just note, we appreciate the participation by all the bidders, and it's great. There our ADOT has bids where people just will turn in a no bid just because of the uncertainties in the economy and the cost of materials and labor, and it's great for a local project to have that kind of interest, and it speaks highly to our engineering department and their bid package and their contact with the advertisement or co-advertisement contacts and information. So thank you.
You second that?
I second that.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes. All right, we'll now take this opportunity for the Board of Supervisors and the County Manager to present a brief summary of events, and we will start with Manager Welker.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. We've got a full house today, so I'll be very brief. We are through our first half of the fiscal year, our first 6 months, looking at our local sales tax. We are slightly above last year at 1.1% above last year's fiscal year, which is a good place to be. Last year was a record year, and we as we made our budget, we thought we'd either be even or a little down because of how high the sales tax came in last year. So being slightly above is a good place to be. So we're happy with that. On the state shared sales tax, that's the taxes that all go to the state, and then they disperse them back to each county. We are 7.6% above last year's in that category as well. So halfway through the year, our revenues are trending well. In our next staff report, I'll provide you with where we're at on the general fund and our other larger funds. Julie was able to get that over to me over the break, and we're equally in a really good spot. So I want to thank the department heads and elected officials. We're under budget halfway through the year. Our revenues are slightly above, and our expenditures are slightly below budget. So that's a really good place to be. So we appreciate that. At our last meeting, I went over all of our projects. I won't do that again. In our work session, we'll be able to hit on the major ones of those that are moving. So I'll leave that here for my report for now, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Vice Chairman David?
Thank you. Most of the activity happened since our last board meeting that week. We on Monday, December 15th, after our board meeting, I attended a Rural Transportation Advocacy Council meeting, trying to get some funding for rural projects. It'll be a tight budget year. The following day, SEGO had a transportation coordination meeting, and that includes all of our local, like the GCRC, Blake Foundation, Safe House, and the Senior Citizens, SECUS, and that involves the funding of those programs for our communities, and they are adjusting to the changes in funding, but it seems like for the time being the funding will continue. Just talked about some of their concerns and problems, mostly logistics and maintenance. Later that afternoon, there was a Graham and Greenlee County local committee to end homelessness meeting that I attended. We talked about planning for what we call the point in time count in the near the end of this month, where we take 2 days and do and canvass the area and look for people who are living in conditions either with substandard conditions or don't have a place to live, and we utilize that information to report it to the state, and funding for things like the respite center at the there on the highway, for our community, for homeless services. That's how we get funding for that, and also our outreach. And so that's really important, and we'll be conducting that later this month. 2 years ago, we had 0 homeless people reported, and that was underreported. The next year we had, I believe, 39, and last year, which includes Greenlee County, we indicate a little over 100, and that is just that's still underreporting the significance of the problem, especially with our economy and cost of housing. So that's something that I continue to work on, and as funds are available from the federal government, we will apply for and through the local committee to end homelessness and address that and try to improve conditions. Last item, well, 2 items left. One is joined our county manager on the December 17th at the Chamber of Commerce, and we had a coordination meeting because this is going to be the 250th year anniversary of the United States this July. We wanted to get at least get an idea. In the past, we've had each community's had separate activities, and looking for some collaboration and combined activities and coordination, so that we don't have competing interests, and by getting together, we can have a better activity. So it looks like there'll be a big pancake breakfast in Pima, a parade in Safford. Thatcher will join us, and possibly Pima, a parade in Safford. There'll be swimming pools will be open. This is the city of Safford is as well as Pima, and we hope EAC will allow swimming pools to be open and reduced or no fees. Basketball and other games through the day in Thatcher, and then people will join us at the fairgrounds for a fireworks, and then a concert that's in the works. We don't have any confirmation, but we're not looking for a battle of the bands. We're looking for a bigger draw, although the battle of the bands isn't bad. So that was and we also knew that we needed to get an order in for fireworks through because there'll be so much demand. And so that was a successful meeting. Appreciate Dustin helping to facilitate that. And then lastly, on the 18th, we traveled. Chairman Mack was not well that day. He was ill. And so our manager and Supervisor Howard and I went to Sierra Vista, and we lobbied for 2 or 3 legislative proposals, as well as funding for Ray Lane improvements to the mine, and that was a successful trip. We will see how successful when they start divvying the budget up, but we had I would consider it a very good meeting, and that's my report, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Vice Chairman. Supervisor Howard?
Don't have much at all. I've just been enjoying the holidays with my family, doing a lot of medical traveling lately, but I'm excited about the new year coming up. We've been kind of in a little lull here. Now it's time to roll up our sleeves and get to work and get down legislature and try to get some funding here for roads and different things, and lobbying for what's good for the people of Graham County. So I wish you all a happy new year. Let's make a great 26. Go for it. That's all I have.
Amen.
Thank you. I agree. I spent the first week of the holidays sick, and spent part of the second week with my family on a little vacation, and had a good Christmas. And I agree with Supervisor Howard. 26 is going to be a good year, and I'm excited to get it going. So with that said, we will have our call to the public, and looks like we have one person here to speak. Her topic is rezoning for the Bloomfield properties, and it's LaShawna Coleman. Is that correct? You can take the podium.
You want to save that till we get to there?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah.
Okay. So, sorry,
We're just gonna save it until we get that public hearing in. That's part of the public hearing for the planning and zoning. So we'll call you up. We're going to that one next, but we'll have our plan and zoning.
Okay, so we'll go ahead
Explain it
and
first.
close our regular meeting and open a public hearing, and we'll turn the time over to Mark Kavanaugh with our planning and zoning.
Good morning, gentlemen. Morning. So the first one we have is rezone 943-25 APN.
102.
That's 102-43034. A request was made to rezone from A general land use to CG commercial general zone. Applicant is Bloomfield Companies. Site address is north of Highway 70 and on the west side of Monteith Lane.
So do you have any, can you give us some background on this?
Yeah, absolutely. So this actually had a temporary use permit. Frito-Lay used this property for years and years and years until it sold to Bloomfield Companies. And we actually, the way that this was kind of brought to our attention, because of the temporary use permit, they thought that it was already commercial general when they bought it. But when the property sells, that zoning actually goes away with the temporary use permit. So I sent them a letter for our code compliance saying that they were using the property incorrectly. And then they kind of stopped using it as that and just kind of put that property to the side. I was in contact with Craig numerous times over it. And they came into compliance, but now they're wanting to use this as a laydown yard and a teaching grounds for their Morenci operations when they have to do their MSHA training and their site-specific training there. So
it was originally the Frito-Lay. Yeah, it was Frito-Lay for years.
yeah,
So their intent isn't to have a lot of, I say, activity in there. When you talk about MSHA classes, you're just talking about cars and parking and that kind of stuff. Not to say in the future something else might be more extreme, but their intent is to just have basically the way it is now, just a little bit more activity.
right.
Okay.
I would say probably less activity than Frito-Lay was doing in there
Right.
for
Yeah.
years.
I am concerned, of course, the stated intent for use it as a laydown yard, and then just the zoning, which will allow, that the zoning will go with that property from now on. It's not going to have any kind of fabrication. It would just be commercial activities. Is that correct?
Correct.
As in retail, or when you say commercial, what is the entail?
No, so what, the way that they explain it to me, to keep materials there, and then possibly park trucks, from the Morenci operations, just so when they're heading out of town, they can get their vehicles and then
Okay.
continue to Morenci.
So with the neighbor next door and the trailer park there, it's worst case scenario, there'd be 24-hour activity, heavy vehicles in and out, dropping off, picking up. Is that a possible use?
It is a possible use with this zoning, correct, but I don't think that's their intent.
Okay.
So.
Can we go ahead and hear from LaShawna Coleman? If you don't mind, if you'll state your address, and you'll have 3 minutes to speak. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone, and Happy New Year.
Good morning.
My name is LaShawna Coleman. I live at 1697 South Monteith Lane, directly across the street from the relevant parcel. I am in opposition to the rezoning due to the fact that I grew up in the neighborhood. I'm 55 years old, I'll just tell y'all. I was there when Frito-Lay was there all those years, and a guy named Mr. Maynard was my friend, and I'd go over and visit Mr. Maynard on the Frito-Lay site. Wasn't much traffic there. It was very quiet at that time. And the reason I'm opposed is that, or one of the reasons, is that if or since a permit was good enough for an international company, why isn't it good enough now for this company? Until at least we can see what the long-term effects in my community will be. I know as of now, there is an issue with raging traffic in that area, upwards of 100 miles per hour. There was been a traffic study done, and this has been known for years, and no one has showed up to rectify the issue. And so with the commercial coming in, I'm concerned about that. There's also the issue of the easement to the alleyway has been blocked off. There's a fence been put up there. There's no access on that side of the alley. There may be access down to the north of Monteith Lane by the canal there, and you can get in there to maintain, power lines and trim trees and this and that. But your workers are going to have to back all the way back down the alley because you can't. And I'm not sure. I believe, from my knowledge, there should be ordinances regarding easements and rights of way in alleys and access to those things. There is no access to that alleyway where there was when Frito-Lay was there, and there was no fence there. We don't have a lot of crime in that neighborhood. And may I absorb Conrad Gonzalez's time? He's the neighbor that's right there next to that parcel that we're talking about. He's actually concerned about all the traffic and the easement to the alleyway that was there and some other things.
Can you, Mrs. Coleman, can I get you to pause for a moment?
Sure.
Have you increased the screen so we can see that a little bit better, that parcel? And then if you can give a laser pointer so we can know what has been proposed or lost. The alleyway is what I'm looking, what I'm interested in.
This is the alleyway here.
Okay.
So you see here, this area here, this is the field. You're not going to be able to, this is a mound of soil that's been built up there to retain irrigation waters.
Right.
The fence is here. And my parents gave, and along with the rest of these houses here and the people who I grew up with over these years, this is an easement that they agreed to provide. They own the property here and they pay taxes on it. The same with here in front of everybody's homes. We all own in front of the homes. This is my property here.
Okay.
So as you see, the way these cars are parked here, and you would park here on this other side, the parking here in front of our homes, somebody's coming down here at 100 miles per hour. You have a child maybe with a ball or whatever, the ball goes out in the street and the child follows, and somebody's at 100 miles an hour. That's going to be a problem eventually. And I know that this has been a problem for a while. I'm busy taking care of Mom, and Mom's gone now, so I have some time to concentrate on other things. When we requested the traffic study, this was my neighbor here. She requested the traffic study, and She was told that even though the traffic at that time the top speed was 100 mile an hour and above, which we all know is criminal speeding. She was told that to put speed bumps there would tear up people's cars. That's what she was told. Excuse me. Now, we all know that speed bumps are deterrents, and if you don't want your automobile to be damaged, then you'll follow the speed limit.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what the speed bump is for. It's a deterrent, so.
And can we extend,
Excuse me.
Chairman, Ms. Coleman's time just for an extra minute? I wanted to focus more on the property and
Sure.
not on the enforcement issue. Not
Sure.
that that's critical, that's vital, but I just wanted to focus on the concerns of, I understand that there's a possibility of increased traffic.
Sure.
I'm not sure that the vehicles that would be leaving the highway and entering and leaving that property
Would be cut off,
Yeah.
maybe.
So could you give me a summary then, your 2 or 3 biggest concerns about the proposed zoning change and what you'd like?
Whether there would be any chemicals eventually. It's just, how is this going to affect my neighborhood long-term? And I'm just requesting until we see what that is or what that's going to be, that be denied or put off in favor of the permit that was there. I've been told that the usage permit is good for the life of the ownership of the property. So I actually see no harm in denying the rezoning in favor of a permit, because the permit is going to get or accomplish the same objective as the rezoning.
Okay.
It's to me, it may be just a little bit overzealous to be going this route when a permit will get the job done.
Okay.
Well, okay, I appreciate that, and
Sure.
We've got a little internal discussion here in a minute or two after the public. So.
Yeah, and
Great.
then the easements for the alleyway, I'll just quickly let you in on a situation that there was one of the neighbors next to, I believe it is here. We had a situation where they were, and this is a rental property, she was tossing dirty soiled napkins and Pampers in the backyard in the alley, and enforcement was called and informed, and the alleyway to the north was blocked down by the canal. They couldn't get in there, and I'm told they can't legally enter the person's property. So there would have had to be an easement. They couldn't get in here, and they couldn't get in back down toward, so there was no enforcement of the issue really, or address, with her throwing, hazardous waste, which is soiled diapers back there.
Okay.
So the easement portion of it is of a concern as well. So just those were my concerns. Long-term effect on my community and the children in that community. There are children, there's a school bus, and what all this is going to open the door to.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. We appreciate you coming and voicing your opinion, and definitely share some of the same concerns you do. I don't like the fact that they've closed off the alley. I know on that street particularly, with that closed off, there's only access on the north side.
Sure. And you have to conduct maintenance and everything like that. Like I said, if there were an easement to be granted by Bloomfield, he was concerned. I spoke to him at the last meeting, and he was concerned about someone breaking in and stealing materials and things of that nature. Fortunately, we don't have a lot of crime. We don't have any crime going on in that area. That's never, my mom left her, they would leave their doors open. I mean, it's just, we just don't have all that going on and then too, with the traffic, would that be an issue now? Because, people brings, right?
Yeah.
Other issues, the presence of foot traffic and so on.
Yeah. All right, well,
So,
thank you.
okay. Thank you for your time and attention, gentlemen. I appreciate you, and have a happy new year.
You too, thank you.
Mark, I have a question, please.
Yes, sir.
What are they have the property now, they own the property now, they bought the property. What are they using it for now? Are they doing the same things now than they're going to, or did you stop that use?
No, as far as I know, they haven't been using it as such.
They
so.
haven't been using it at all
No.
for anything? They're just
No,
sitting
so
there?
the last time I spoke with Craig, he was wanting to possibly just build a residence there and then sell it. And then Dallas took over. So, and he's got a different vision for that property now.
So could they, without this zoning change, then that property could not be utilized to do what they're wanting to do?
Correct, yeah.
Legally.
So, yeah, legally. So, but to the west, I mean, if we could turn the zoning on, there's currently commercial manufacturing zoning all around it. Currently, obviously, it's not being used as such. It's
the
just
red,
being
right?
used as a farm field currently, but
So that's all commercial, that red?
yeah,
is all
yeah, and it kind of encompasses right up into the Bloomfield property right now. So.
Had a question or two. Has our engineering department reviewed the easement and the access for the alley?
We have not. This is the first time it's been brought to our attention. So.
And then my next is concerns about security and also for privacy for the neighbors and the little noise attenuation. But is that property currently fenced or screened?
The property is currently fenced, and it has been ever since I started working here.
And is
over
that
4
like
years
a
ago.
chain link fence?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know when it was fenced, but it has been fenced since I've been here.
And then that area between the edge of pavement and looks like the fence line, the north-south fence line, is that their current parking, is available per parking, is that?
Correct, yeah. So
They usually park inside the fence, from what I've seen. I think the property line is the county's easement goes to that fence line, doesn't it?
yeah, I would assume so, just from looking at the parcel.
Yeah.
But
My concern also is the access to the alleyway.
and speaking with Bloomfield, I'm sure they're willing to honor the easement that's currently in place.
Mr. Chairman, can I ask a question real quick? Steve Puzis, are you aware of a public alleyway there? So it is public, okay. I just wanted to clarify if it was possibly just private or public, so there could be one there. Gotcha.
Questions?
Well, I'm mulling over a special use, the idea of that's been proposed, special use permit versus stipulations. My concern, of course, is mostly, even though that whole area, except for that little island, is already has the zoning that these people are requesting. So that's certainly not a huge change, but it is currently, that property is a buffer for future development. If we give that the CG, then that opportunity for a buffer is no longer there unless we do something via either stipulation or, as proposed, maintain the current zoning and with a special use permit, but our actually, internally, our P and Z department, you proposed the upgrade to, and said you're out of compliance, this is the zoning that you need. So you've provided some guidance to them on how to be in conformity.
Well, so originally they actually did apply for the commercial manufacturing zoning, but due to the size of the parcel, the commercial manufacturing didn't fit, and that's why we had recommended the commercial general.
Okay.
So.
Well, that takes, I was concerned about fabrication and the welding and the noise, day and night that you could get with the commercial manufacturing. Or would that bleed over into light industrial?
This is more just daily use.
Okay.
I mean, if they wanted to have a retail store there, they could have that here in this zoning. But for what they're planning, just with having MSHA classes, light storage, material handling there, the commercial general will be more than sufficient for them.
Personally, I'd like to see the alleyway situation get resolved, and I don't know if we can keep it a temporary use permit. I just have concerns with making it commercial in that neighborhood. It's a good neighborhood. There's a lot of good people there. The houses are close. I do realize that there is commercial property around it already, but that property is kind of a buffer. I mean, how do you guys feel?
I am a private property advocate. They bought the property for a reason, to be able to do what they wanted to do on that property with the proper zoning. I see all the other commercial property around it. I understand the buffer part of it, but what they're proposing doesn't seem like it make a big impact. But with that being said, down the road, they could do something that was unforeseen at this time, but their proposal right now, I don't see the big impact of it, especially with the, again, a private property issue in my mind. People buy property with plans and, they have to buy the property first before they can rezone it to what they want to do. So it's a kind of double-edged sword for me. I'm on the fence on it, but what about a special use permit? That can't
Okay.
resolve this for a little bit to see if it works?
Thank you.
Can that be done?
I would recommend a temporary use permit.
That's what, yeah.
Yeah, so the special use permit would actually transfer with the sale of the property.
Okay.
The temporary use permit, that's kind of why they're in this predicament right now.
She doesn't really reject seeing how it work. So if we did a temporary permit, maybe we could see how it worked, and if it's not effective, then we could come back and visit this as a zoning change. Is that a possibility?
Yeah, and I agree. I don't have an issue with the teaching MSHA and what they're wanting to do there. I mean, I think that would be fine. I just worry about what could be done with it later that would adversely affect their neighbors. But I'm all for a temporary use permit, and let's just see how it works.
Will that work, Dustin?
Mr. Chair, members of the board, the item on the agenda is just for a rezone. You cannot give them anything that's not on the agenda. They would have to go back through the process to get a temporary use permit. That would be back to planning and zoning staff, and then to the commission, and then back to the board. So I don't think it's really appropriate to talk about a permit at this time. What they've applied for is a zoning, and that should be the decision.
But we could ask a request of stipulation, and that would be consistent with the agenda item.
Yes, Vice Chairman David,
that's
rezoning
that's
with
the workaround.
the rezoning that they've asked for with stipulations is appropriate.
I would, Mr. Chairman, I would propose, or at least for discussion, a stipulation, two-part stipulation. One is whether we'd have access or not, an easement or not, that an easement be granted to allow that access into the alley. And also, I would also propose that their activities, their commercial general activities, cease after 8 o'clock, so that there's no, in the summertime, it's not dark until almost 8, but so that they wouldn't have any activities that would disrupt the neighborhood in the evenings, and from say 4 a.m. to 8 o'clock at night. Let them have activities, but then have it quiet for the neighborhood, and have that be the buffer. That just a proposal.
Okay.
Supervisor Howard,
I could live with that, yeah.
be okay with
Is
that?
is that what we can do on this particular agenda item?
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, if I could just maybe add that we're not creating an easement or giving an easement, that maybe the stipulation be that the current easement isn't obstructed or obstruction removed if we find that there is one over the easement. I do know, Steve Puz has just showed me, there is a public easement through there. It's not showing on the map, so it's hard in this meeting to tell where exactly that is and if it's really being obstructed by that property. So maybe a stipulation that if that property is obstructing the easement, that obstruction's removed, and that recorded easement is kept free of obstruction, something to that effect.
Do we need to table this until we get this kind of information and come back and visit this?
I think so.
Get more information, don't make a decision, get this information, and then come back, and that way they wouldn't have to start their process again, but we could get that.
We need to table to a time, what do they call it, a
time.
defined time.
Yes, Vice Chairman David, and I believe we could have that by the next meeting.
Let's
How about for planning and zoning, Mark? What do you have any opposition to that?
No, absolutely not.
And I'm guessing that your not the supervisors, but your planning and zoning commission recommended approval. Is that correct?
They did, yeah, favorable,
Okay,
unanimous.
Okay. I'd go ahead and make a motion then that we, as chairman indicated, that we table this until our next meeting, and ask our engineering and highway department to review the easement and the possible conflict, and advise the applicant that we're tabling it for 2 weeks, and invite them to come to the next meeting in the event that they have input, because they're absent today, and I think it would be important for them to at least be invited.
Okay.
As we determine this, and Ms. Coleman, you're also invited to attend, and we appreciate your input and your concerns.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes.
All right, next on the agenda is RAZ 944-25. APN is 102-04035F and 102-04016. A request was made to rezone from A general land use to RMH, residential manufactured home, for future development. Applicant is Stephanie Howard. Situs address is south of East Graham Canal Road, north of the river, and east of 8th Avenue. So in a little back history on this, there is a floodway on the southern portion of this property that wouldn't be allowed to have any septic. So, I mean, they're asking for 2 of these parcels, which accumulate many acres, but the actual usable acres would be approximately 22.64 acres, where they would actually be able to have the RV park. So, and there's no sewer available because it's across the river. So everything would have to be on septic. And we did have, I don't know if there's a call to the public from Denise Reyes, the farm manager for Wansley Farms, LLC. But she did send me an email. They are in opposition of the RV park unless they've changed their mind. I haven't heard any communication.
You didn't get the letter?
What's that?
You got a letter from her?
I do. I have an email. Yeah.
Was that discussed during your P and Z
It was, yes.
commission?
Yeah.
And is can you share her concern?
I can, absolutely. I just have to get the email in my folder, just right here. All right, so it says, Dear Planning and Zoning Commission and Board of Supervisors, Wansley Farm LLC owns the land, parcel number 10204-003D. This farm is an original homestead granted in the late 1800s and has been under cultivation since that time. Our concern with the rezoning of parcels in item RAZ 944-25 are related to the normal parts of agricultural production. There will be noise, chemical uses, and dust, to name a few things that residential land use may find objectionable. In addition, the parcels in the rezoning request are located along and include the Gila River. This puts these parcels in a flood zone simply by proximity. When the Gila River floods, that would potentially push the debris from housing units onto Wansley Farm. While floods are terrible in their own right, it is strange that R.G. Howard Land Holding LLC would want that risk, as R.G. Howard Farms is currently the leaseholder to the Wansley Farm cultivable land and has been for over 10 years. Please take these items into consideration as you make your decision.
Again, private property, I think that's a pretty good place for an RV park. They can't go into the floodway with septic, we know that. I know that property, for ag use, it's not that valuable in my mind. They've bought property, they're trying to get the best use out of that property they possibly can. It's out of the way. It doesn't affect any residents in a big manner. They do farm the property below it, the Walmsley farm below it. They farm that. They control that area for the time being, unless somebody gets mad. But anyway, I think it's a great idea. It's good use for that particular property in my mind.
I'd agree. I think I think it's a good location. Our community can definitely use the extra housing, temporary housing. I think it's kind of out of sight, out of mind. I think it's a good location for it.
It is central. Mark, was there any indication from the applicant as to the full build out, how many units that they would have? And this is it going to be a mobile home park, or is it going to be an RV park? Because if it's in a flood zone, then they've got to be able to move everything in the event of a flood if it's in the flood zone. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. So it is in the flood zone, so these would just be recreational vehicles, and they would have to remain roadworthy to be in the park. So,
okay.
So no manufactured homes would be set in here.
So what about things like an office and also their facilities, whether they have laundry or pool or something like that? Is there non-flood zone areas that you can? I mean, and that's really beyond the scope of what we're doing. I'm just concerned that, but my biggest concern, and I wanted to address that. I agree with Supervisor Howard on the property rights and the appropriate use. My biggest concern is the intersection of 8th Avenue and that road. Can you blow that up? We currently have if you've got RVs, you know, some of them are 35 foot long, and the tow vehicle, and this road as it continues to get more traffic, you've got decent sight distance, except for right in this area here, we've got a lot of brush we'd have to clear. But my concern is slow vehicles both entering and leaving, and impacts on this on a canal road intersection with 8th Avenue, that just like the state has impacts, concerns on traffic impacts, you know, if the fact that it's RVs, they probably wouldn't have the number of you know, typically you don't have kids and families, so you would have the fewer traffic movements per day, but that intersection is a concern. Not that it wouldn't be appropriate, but as it currently is, I don't know that we've got the geometry, and I'd have to ask our highway and engineer if that was if there was a need, and is there a way to, if we grant the zoning before they construct it, is there a way to evaluate and have a conversation as far as impacts, or if we don't act today, then that opportunity for any mitigations, are those gone?
I think that would be, you would have to stipulate that in your approval, but I'll let Manager Welker answer that.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, so our code does gives the county engineer at least latitude to ask for a traffic study if it feels like it's appropriate. So that's the latitude we have in the ordinance. And traffic study would determine if something needs to be done. I mean, it is not necessarily adjacent to the property, so we'd have to look at, you know, if they'd be responsible for an impact that far away. But
okay. Well, that's the only egress ingress, so that there would be a direct impact. So I'm comfortable with that. I just wanted to put the people on notice that is a concern, and we'd I'd like our engineering department to take a look at it. And we're not talking about adding lanes other than maybe a cell or D cell, you know, getting off the highway and possibly. Mostly just getting off the highway, but yes, that I would be comfortable with that, and so we'll go ahead and move forward.
I'll go ahead and.
Is there any public? Because
I
we
was
do
just
have.
curious what the recommendation of the council, the commission was.
It was a favorable recommendation unanimously.
Okay.
the applicant is here too, if you want to hear from applicants.
Or public, yeah.
Do you have anything to add, JR?
How many RV spots are you looking at?
Sorry, JR, we come up to the podium so we can catch you on the mic on record.
So we're not entirely sure how many spots we can have. It all depends on septic, how many we can do with the septic. I think there's been some done before that you can go up to 28 units on a typical septic system. So if that's the case, then that's what we're gonna do. Any other concerns?
I was just curious about how many, just because of the traffic concern that Vice Chairman David brought up. I mean, 28 units, there's probably not going to be a whole lot of people in and out of there.
Yeah.
So
I was concerned about 150, 200.
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, if in the future, maybe, but it's looking like, since we don't have access to a sewer, it's not going to be very big.
Okay. Yeah, I personally don't have a problem with it.
Thank you.
Do we have a motion?
I'll go ahead and make a motion for, to approve the rezone from general land use to RMH residential manufactured home for future developments for this parcel.
And I'm pleased to second Supervisor Howard's motion.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Next agenda item is the ordinance of the Board of Supervisors of Graham County, Arizona, amending Graham County zoning ordinance to add provisions regulating accessory dwelling units, ADUs, in compliance with House Bill 2928, 2025, and ARS State Statute 11-810.01 and ARS State Statute 11-269-17. And this is ordinance number 2025-1. Would you like me to read this entire thing?
So I think the board wanted to discuss this in executive session, is that correct?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, and Mark, as we did in planning and zoning, our county attorneys would like to provide some legal guidance over this in executive session. My recommendation is we have this for an executive session, and the next item, which is an executive session concerning the appointment of the vacant justice of the peace position. So my recommendation up to the board's approval would be to enter an executive session to discuss both these items. After the first item, which deals with the casita bill, the county attorneys would recuse themselves for the next item, which would be the justice of the peace position. That would be staff's recommendation to go forward on the agenda items.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and close our public hearing. And can we get a motion to go into executive session?
So
moved.
And I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
We may, for the public, we may be anywhere from 20 minutes to an hour in executive session. We don't know how long. Depends on the discussions. So, but we'll hurry because if you're planning to wait, your time is valuable. So, thanks.
All right. Want to thank everybody for your patience. Can we get a motion to close our executive session and go back into our public hearing?
So moved.
I'll second Supervisor Howard's motion.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Do we need to have Mark come back up?
No.
Okay.
Unless you have questions.
Okay, so can we get a motion on the casino?
Let's open up
Oh, yeah.
the hearing.
Do we have anybody here from the public that has any discussion on the casita bill? Okay, seeing none, can we get a motion on the casita bill?
Chairman Mack, I would note that this is a bill that the legislature took away the right of the counties to regulate through planning and zoning the density. They did it to try to address the housing shortage by allowing an accessory home, a mother-in-law, so to speak, or grandparent residence on existing property. But they did allow us to make some changes and or at least to specify some conditions which will allow us to have a little more control, not to choke or to restrict, but just a little more control on the type and the quality of homes in that will impact adjacent residences. So I'd go ahead and make a motion, but do I need to have the county manager read the ordinance before we make a motion?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Vice Chairman. I'll read this by title. Graham County Ordinance Number 2025-1, an ordinance of the Board of Supervisors of Graham County, Arizona, amending the Graham County zoning ordinance to add provisions regulating accessory dwelling units, or ADUs, in compliance with House Bill 2928, 2025, and ARS 11-810-01 and 11-269.17.
Very good. And to summarize, that just allows one accessory dwelling unit on a lot where there's an existing home on an acre. Is that correct?
Mr. Chairman, Vice Chairman, so if it's under an acre, it allows one attached unit and one detached unit. If it's over an acre, then an additional unit to those two. So either two or three.
And that's the legislature's, that's the legislation. We just get to direct the type of accessory dwelling units. I'll go ahead and make a motion then, Mr. Chairman, that we amend the Graham County zoning ordinance to add provisions regulating accessory dwelling units in compliance with House Bill 2928 and ARS 11-810-01 and 11-269-17.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you. Next, we will ask for a motion to appoint a justice of the peace to serve in the office beginning January 12th, 2026 through the term ending December 31st, 2026. Do we have a motion?
Discussion first, Paul?
Sure. Will you allow just an explanation or at least before a motion's made, the discussion of this?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, Chairman. First of all, I wanted to thank the 5 applicants who are seeking this position, this interim JP position, which the voters will ultimately decide in either July and or December. Our job is to just select someone in an interim capacity, but we want to choose the best candidate, which makes it difficult when 4 of the 5 applicants had college degrees, 2 had law degrees, 3 of the 5 had masters, with the 4th enrolled in a master's program, and 3 of the 5 had previous or current county employment, so that we had a great pool to choose from. But our priority with Judge Palmer's illness is that someone who retires because of illness, that it's nothing against him, but just his capacity to take care of business created a backlog of cases, and it necessitated us to immediately, with this process, to find someone who's not only familiar with our system, but also would create the very shortest learning curve or transition period to address the backlog, because justice delayed is justice denied, in one of the phrases, one of the quotes. And so that is this I think that I can speak for the board. Those are some of our concerns, some of the criteria we used. Again, we appreciate all. And if you are not selected, then certainly all three of the 5 candidates have already pulled papers, or applicants, and so I would encourage you to continue to campaign, and we hope that we've represented the will of the people that we represent, but we'll find out what the general public and what the voters really want in July and possibly in November. So thank you very much, Mr. Chair, for that executive privilege to explain our process and the difficulties that we were faced with, both in having a great pool of candidates and an immediate need.
I'll just add to that. This is an easy decision to make. It's a very difficult decision to make, and it weighs heavy on us. And these decisions aren't made easily and without a lot of thought and input on it. Again, to reiterate what Vice Chairman David said, is that the voters will speak in the upcoming election. The candidates will get to have their say and be out there, but with a time restraint and getting on with this process, we've made our decision. But it was a very difficult decision, and I thank all the candidates for putting in and giving the time and interest on it. It's very important. It's nice to see that we have that many people that wants this position. It's a very important decision. It changes people's lives. It's a decision that I certainly didn't take lightly. So that's what I have to say about it. Is there anything else?
Do we have a motion?
I'll go ahead and make a motion to appoint the next JP Court Judge, Stephanie Newton.
And,
Do we have a second?
And Chairman, I'll go ahead and second that motion, but with great respect for all the other applicants and their qualifications.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you all for being here. Our meeting will now be adjourned.